Justin, good to have you back in here.
It's always good to be here, Stephen.
Always fantastic to have you in here, Justin. Well, this coaching staff for Alabama really excited about recruiting for this 2021 class. It's really, really heating up here this summer. And after Monday, Alabama picking up four-star defensive back Devontae Smith out of Ohio. It picks up another four-star and outside linebacker Dallas Turner out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And me talking with you said this is a very, very special talent. How big was this landing, Dallas Turner? How happy is Alabama right now in terms of Charles Huff getting him?
Well, I think the Tide's coaching staff is extremely excited. You can just take your simple look at Twitter and you can see all of those guys tweeting.
Everybody's got a graph now.
Yeah, tweeting out how excited they are about Alabama picking up Dallas Turner. But this is a huge get for the Tide. Of course, they're keeping that momentum going on the 2021 recruiting trail, now picking up 10 commits in their 2021 recruiting class, basically picking up 9 commits since the month of April, and I think that's in a 3-month span. That's pretty remarkable by Alabama's recruiting class and by Alabama's coaching staff that's basically pulling in those guys and adding to the 2021 recruiting class. But this is also a huge pickup based on what Dallas Turner brings to the football field. This is a kid that stands at 6'4" and weighs 245 pounds. He's an explosive edge rusher, and during his time at American Heritage in Plantation, Florida, they use him as an outside linebacker, edge rusher. You know, that is where Alabama uses their outside linebackers at the most. So he's going to be used to rushing off the edge and bringing pressure to the quarterback. This is a guy who racked up 16 sacks as a junior. So this is a guy who's used to rushing off the edge, but I think his overall athleticism is what makes him special. This is an outside linebacker, defensive end type of player that lines up at wide receiver in the red zone sometimes and goes up and get the football against smaller and quicker defensive backs. Yeah, that was impressive with his nice vertical going up and get the football, but what I was really impressed with was his ability to get open. He was hitting cornerbacks and smaller guys for moves off the line, so I think that was really impressive. So this is an impressive athlete all around in the 2021 recruiting class.
Coming from American Heritage High School, the same school as one Patrick Surtain II, so dipping back into Florida. And speaking of Florida, Justin, it's Nick Saban and this staff really hitting the Sunshine State. Dallas Turner, a Jai Hall, a Ja'Cory Brooks, J.C. Latham, Christian Leary. I mean, the list goes on. What is down there in the Sunshine State that Nick Saban's going, I got a well right here, and I'm keeping this one?
I think those Florida guys are built a lot different. I remember when I took a trip down to Florida recently when I got a chance to check on Leary. I actually checked on him at a 7-on-7 game that was not coordinated by anyone. This is a game where the kids just got together and say, yo, let's go do a 7-on-7, and that happens a lot in the state of Florida. They take the sport of football very seriously, even as high school kids. And also when I was there, former Alabama defensive back and current NFL defensive back Clint Dix was even there getting in on the fun. So this is something that is just in the state of Florida, in those guys from the state of Florida. And when you see those guys, they are trained and they are different. Like I said, they're built a little bit different when they're from the state of Florida. And I think Alabama is far from done for the Sunshine State in the 2021 recruiting class. You can name so many different guys that the Tide is still going to recruit from the state of Florida. Looking at Terrion Arnold, Xavier Sorey, and so many other guys you can bring up when you're talking about the Tide recruiting the state of Florida. Of course, 2021 5-star cornerback Jason Marshall, another guy Alabama is picking up momentum with on the recruiting trail in the 2021 recruiting class in the state of Florida. I will also put Keno Coate, a 4-star defensive end, in that mix as well, along with Chambry Jackson, another Orlando, Florida prospect. So you can go on and on with the Tide recruiting the Sunshine State.
Well, folks, if you're just tuning into the show here on a Wednesday, we got the lead scouting and recruiting analyst, Justin Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, talking 2021 recruiting for the Crimson Tide. The biggest news of the day right now, Dallas Turner, the 4-star outside linebacker from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, giving his yes to the Crimson Tide, the 10th verbal commitment. So, Justin, more happiness for Sal Sinceri.
Yeah.
As the outside linebackers coach, you're giving him King Wakuda. He's got Will Anderson, he's got Drew Sanders, he's got so much talent, and now you add in a Dallas Turner with this mix, should he sign, what does this do for Sal Sunseri? 59 years old, older coach. He's on these guys. Recruits like him because he tells those guys the truth. What does this do for Coach Sal?
I think this adds to an impressive outside linebacker room that Alabama will have in the future. Just based off the guys they pulled in the 2020 recruiting class, that was a really impressive group from Drew Sanders, Quandarius Robinson, Will Anderson. All of those guys made up an impressive 2020 group for the Tide. Also Chris Broswell. Now you add on Dallas Turner and possibly Ian Jackson, a guy who could possibly play outside linebacker as well, although it is unclear if he can play there because there's a possibility that he can play inside linebacker or defensive back. But I think this just adds to an impressive outside linebacker group that the Tide is bringing in, guys who are really going to thrive off rushing, off the edge, and I think things are going to get pretty exciting in Tuscaloosa when it comes to those edge rushers and those young guys with a lot of potential.
Now, the one guy recruit that has really been helping out on the trail for Alabama is Kane Williams, the defensive back, and he's been tweeting guys, he's been contacting guys, he's been interacting with guys, and upon Dallas Turner making his move, you had Jaquincy McKinstry come out and is like, yo, is this going to be a top 3 class or what? And then you had Kane Williams making a tweet back saying, just come on home, bro. How much has Kane Williams meant on this recruiting trail? And do we see Jaquincy make a move because of this? He may not, but what does that tweet from McKinstry mean?
Well, as far as Kane Williams, I actually had him on the last episode of The Process on Tuesday, and he actually discussed what he was doing to help the Tide recruit, reaching out to guys, telling them that, if you want to be where you want to be, come to the University of Alabama, just do what you got to do, and you will definitely be there. So I think Kane Williams is a huge part of the Tide's 2021 recruiting class, and I think Jaquincy McKinstry is set to announce a top 3 schools. He has always said a commitment could come at any time.
We're live here, folks. If you're just tuning in to the hottest show on the streets here in my own words with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. I got the man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine here, talking 2021 recruiting. Justin, people talk Jeff Banks. People talk Tino Sunseri. People talk about all these coaches. Charles Huff is starting to hit now. Yeah. You bring in a J.C. Latham. Now here comes a Dallas Turner. When you talk to young guys about Charles Huff, because he's kind of the guy that's not quite mentioned a lot. I know when he was at Penn State, he did a great job of Saquon Barkley, who's in the NFL with the New York Giants. How are people reacting to Charles Huff in terms of the recruiting trio?
Well, I think Charles Huff is doing an amazing job. It's pretty evident pulling in guys like J.C. Latham, Ja'Cory Brooks, Devontae Smith, and now most recently Dallas Turner. I think he's really doing a great job of connecting with recruits. I think that's the biggest thing as far as the recruiting game, building a relationship so players can trust you, feel that you're for them, and just feel that they can trust you 100%, the player in their family. So I think Charles Huff has done a great job of painting a picture of what the University of Alabama has to offer its student athletes on the field and off the field, which was a huge reason why Dallas Turner announced his commitment to Alabama. I think the university really sold itself very well to him and his family. So I think Huff paints the picture pretty well. He has done an impressive job. Probably his most impressive thing was pulling in J.C. Latham. Of course, it looked like Alabama was an afterthought in his recruitment for a period there, and Charles Huff quickly turned that around. So I think he has done an incredible job. I think his biggest moment is yet to come. A guy I will look at is 4-star running back Donovan Edwards, who Charles Huff in Alabama's offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian is in contact with a lot lately, and I think that's the guy I'll pay attention to. If Charles Huff can pull in that kid who looks like a Michigan lean at the moment, if Charles Huff can pull that off, I think that will be the cherry on top of a great recruiting class as far as Charles Huff pulling in commits for the Tide.
Alabama pulling the whole thing of, the first half of the national championship didn't go right. Second half, put 2 out there. We're going to do our thing. Alabama taking that step here in recruiting. But, Justin, I know the coaching staff has been talking about we're not done yet. We could have another recruit come in this week, not done yet. But I remember talking to you. You were talking about how, it could be somewhere down the month. Alabama could land another commitment. It could be something. It could be in the continuation of the summer. Yeah. So who potentially could be next, possibly be next down the pipeline as this coaching staff continues to have the fan base highly excited?
Well, I'll put Jaquincy McKinstry and just in the conversation. I don't think he's going to commit, but he always says, he can come at any moment. I can wake up and want to commit.
He loves to give people a heart attack, man.
I just put him in the mix just to say he's in the mix because he's definitely, a commitment could come from him at any time. The Brockemeyer twins, because as I always said when I joined you, a commitment could come for them during the summer just based off them having a limited time to visit during the football season, but they could hold off and wait until the fall as well. Jason Marshall, a 5-star cornerback out of Florida, another Florida prospect. That's another guy I would look at as far as the Tide making moves for him. It's a couple of other guys you look at. Kendrick Blackshear, a 4-star linebacker out of Texas. Also looking at another guy out of Texas, former Alabama commit, Latrell McCutcheon. He is set to announce his commitment in the coming days. It looks like it may not be the Tide, but the Tide, it is a former Alabama commit. He has a great relationship with Alabama's defensive back coach Carl Scott and Alabama special teams coordinator Jeff Banks. So it is definitely something to look out for. So those are a couple of guys to watch at the moment. But of course, recruiting is flowing rapidly. Guys can make a decision at any time. Going back to Christian Leary, he didn't know he was gonna make a decision that day. He just waited and said, "Yo, I'm gonna make a decision," and he called the Alabama's coaching staff. So these are kids; they can make a decision at a split second and at the drop of a dime.
He's Justin Smith, ladies and gentlemen, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, joining us to give us the lowdown on Dallas Turner, the 10th verbal commitment for the 2021 class. Justin, as always, man, we appreciate you, man, for all the insight, news, and notes that you provide. We're going to take another break here on the show, but upon our return, we entertain your phone calls, thoughts, tweets, questions, concerns after this.
T-Town Menswear in the University Mall in Tuscaloosa. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.